Okay guys, I was actually talking about this with a buddy of mine on how I started filming and the equipment I had when I started, which at this point is probably over 10 years ago, if I were to take a guess at it. So this right here is the actual potato that I film with. This is how I started my YouTube channel. This is what eventually led me into filming all the tutorials I did, all the polysong videos I did, all the original BRS films that, believe it or not, yes, were filmed with this. I believe it only filmed in 480p. I think it could only do it for like 3 minutes at a time, something ridiculous. It had this constant hissing sound. If you go back to my old videos, you'll hear this like this little buzzing sound in the background because this camera put in noise every time you film. Couldn't edit it out. Terrible. All right, but this is what I used. And this was used for all my initial photography when I got into photography. This was actually used for product pictures. This was used for all the pictures we used to originally design the BRS website. If you guys look at the logo and the imagery of the mid-text, the green one, and the 00, the 00, then 000 on the chains, the original Alpha Beast banner on Blade HQ, all done with this. I mean, pretty much, professional grade after a bit of, hacking at it. Good enough to be on a website, right? Blade HQ, good enough for that. Done with this potato right here, okay? The point I'm trying to make is most people think you need all of this, right? This is a Lumix GH3, which even by today's standards is a dinosaur. I think they have the GH5 or 6 or who knows now. This is a $1,300 lens, and at the time this body was close to $3,000, right? So you're talking like a $4,000 setup for just this, not including all the memory and the battery and all this other crap you gotta buy for it, microphone, and everything, right? So four or 5 grand to get into something like this. And this isn't even top of the line, to be honest with you. Plus all the other lenses I need, right, to make those feature films. Most people think, I gotta get this. I need this to make a quality film. No, you don't, right? This is what I used for the first 3 years, maybe 4 years. I then switched over to a Sanyo HD camera, but I think HD, it maxed out at like 720p, maybe 1080. Couldn't do slow-mo, couldn't really do much of anything, but it was a little bit better. But yeah, this was it. My mom gave this to me because she upgraded. There's a crack in it somewhere. I don't see where it's at, but there was like a crack in it. When you turned it on, it still works, by the way, which is kind of amazing. But when you turned it on, this thing, protective cover, would get stuck, and you'd have to literally physically move it with your fingernails to get out of the way. And then when you did that, like crap would get on the lens, and you'd have to wipe it away. I mean, it was as ghetto as you could possibly get for a camera setup. I think this was the mic, so you're talking and the sound's being collected when it's facing down. It just was a nightmare. It surprisingly took decent photos. Right? I'll probably put some in this video so you guys can see, but with the right setup and a little bit of knowledge, you could actually get quite a bit out of this camera. Like I said earlier, we did all of our marketing imagery with this camera in the first few years of BRS. But fast forward to today, you still have people hesitating making content or podcasts or whatever the case is because they want the best mic and the best this. They still want all this. And let me tell you guys, this is a nightmare. It really is. Like as much as I've done paid gigs with this camera. So I'm not by any means a pro, but I know how to use this, right? It's like I'm very familiar. And even me, with all the experience I have filming with this, when it's time to record something and I look at this, I'm just like, oh God, like gotta get the tripod and I hook it up and find the lens, and it's a pain in the ass, right? Like when you're spur of the moment, like this video is very spur of the moment. You can't have any of that. You do all that, you look at that, and the first thing you're gonna think is, I don't want to do all that. Forget it. Maybe I'll do the video later, right? But with this, fast forward to today, and we all got one of these, you can record at any given moment. Just whenever you think of an idea, you just click on camera, hit record, and stock setting, these things are recording at 1080p. This is a Pixel 2. I think the Pixel 1, well before that, they could film in 4K, slow-mo, everything, right? Even an old iPhone is way better than this piece right here, right? So we all have this. We all have the ability to do easily 100 times more than what this clunker could do, right? With modern technology. Fast forward 10 years later, and nobody has any excuse now not to make content. You don't need a better mic. You don't need a better camera. What you really need is yourself. Any idea you wanna pick out. You just need you. You just need to be you in front of a camera doing whatever it is you're passionate about. You in front of this. That's it. There's no magic recipe. Don't get too technical about it. Just go out there and film. And I say this because our community thrives on content, especially today in a society where it's just Instagram and Facebook and everyone's just swiping. Content has a very short shelf life. I mean, realistically, it has at max a 1 minute shelf life, right? You can put a 1 minute video on Instagram. I mean, you can go longer on YouTube, sure, but for the most part, that's what people are doing. They're watching for a minute, if that, and they're swiping. So you have to feed this engine constantly, which means you have to have volume of content. Quality too, yes, but even with that, you need a lot of volume. You just have to be very active and constantly produce. So if we want to keep our community flush with content, new content, fresh ideas, and to evolve, we got to get out there and contribute content. When flipping started, YouTube was the main thing, and the reason why flipping developed as quickly as it did and how tricks advanced was because of the advent of YouTube, and because people were taking the time to put out content, put out tutorials. That's what progressed the art and sport of flipping, and that's what will progress anything. If it's not knives or flipping, any industry, any community, you need content, you need fresh ideas, you need to share, you need to communicate, you need to have a community. This is exactly what that does, right? So get out there, get your phone, just make content, just contribute, participate on any level that you can. I did it with this for several years to almost, in fact, not even almost, to a commercial level. To a commercial level, I did it with this. So if I could do it with this, you can certainly do it with this. But I'm using this right now, right? I'm not even using the big rig. I'm using a cell phone to make this video. So get out there, film, no excuses. I hope this motivates some people to make content. I'd love to hear your comments below. Thanks for watching.